Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nate. Today I wanted to do a 12 books that will self-destruct in 1 year video. I have no idea who started this concept. I've seen it around a few times on YouTube and I really like this idea. I kind of tried to do it in 2023, but I didn't really put a lot of energy. I picked the books, but I never then really put any energy into actually trying to pick them. And so I've decided to scrap it and do it this year for 2024 and actually actively try and get them one a month on my TBR to try reading it. If I don't read it that month, I don't have to unhaul it. It's going to be until the end of December next 2024 that I will have to unhaul any of these books that are not read, but I at least want to try and actively get them on my TBR monthly next month with my game, so to actually make kind of an effort into actually reading them. So how I'm going to pick them, however, is I'm going to be using, this is my standalone jar. It's obviously not a jar, but it's what I use in my TBR game if I have to pick a random standalone. This bag is kind of up to date as of June 2023. I have not added anything in after that, so any of the new books that I bought a load in September, they won't be in here. So this will be mostly older stuff. So like by the end of December 2024, I would have owned the books at least for a year and a half, some of them for a lot longer than that. So I think this would be a good way of picking 12 random standalones that also don't then have to have some condition. They're not starting a new series, they're not carrying on a series, they're standalones I could read anytime, and yeah, see if I actually want to read them. If not, unhaul them. So yeah, I'm going to be picking that today. I'm going to be picking 12 random standalones from my bag, and those will be the books that I will self-destruct this time next year if I do not read them. So without further ado, let's crack on with it. So a little shape. I'm hoping most of these are on here so I don't have to go for a walk, but if not, I have like 3 other bookshelves. I'll just have to go for a walk. So I'm just gonna pick, I'm gonna do them one at a time because that's more fun. They're all just kind of on little bits of paper. Okay, so this one, that was the wrong way. This is on here. This is a Disney book. Now, I'm not actually sure if this is part of a series, but I do only own the one, so let me grab it. So our first book up is Lost in a Book. This is by Jennifer Donnelly, and it's an enchanting original story. It is about Beauty and the Beast. I genuinely have no idea when I bought this, why I have it, if someone else bought it, and it just kind of was given to me. I think I have had this for over 3 years though, because I think it came to where I currently live with me. I don't remember getting it since being where I currently am. That's kind of how I judge how old my books are, if I remember buying it being where I live now, and I don't this. So yeah, this is, I guess, just going to be an original story with Belle. It's a child's book, I'm going to say, and like, it's not very big. The writing's not very big, so I actually think this will be a breeze to get through. It's one that I probably wouldn't have put on my TBR anytime soon, just because, yeah, I have no idea what it's about. It's just one of those books that I bought and they just end up sitting on my shelves for years. So this will be a good thing to actually put it on, and I probably will actually enjoy this because I like reading like Disney interpretation stuff, especially of like this era of Disney. I find this book really fun, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this. So that is the first of the 12 books for this video. So we shall shove that here, although it might end up getting in the way, but that's fine. For book 2, let's just, I don't need to keep shaking, I'll just grab the ones off the top. So we'll grab this one, and it is, okay, so this is actually a newish one. It's kind of written down, you can kind of see. It's Love Theoretically. I couldn't even bother to write the word love. But yeah, so this is actually an extremely new one, which I might have put in after June. I can't remember when this one came out. So yeah, let me grab it. Okay, so it is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I don't remember if this came out after June. So if it did, I obviously have updated this since June. But this is a 2023 release. It doesn't say in the book when in 2023 it came out, just 2023. I really enjoyed The Love Hypothesis. And so I have all of 3 of her other novels. I don't have a YA novel that I think has just recently come out, but I have her other 3 novels and I've not read them. I think this would be an interesting one to put on the list because although I do really want to read this, I buy books, new releases, and then don't read them for a very long time. So this will kind of force me next year to read this at some point, which I'm looking forward to. I do kind of want to read her books in order of release for no other reason than I just kind of want to, which means I'll have to read Love on the Brain and her short story collection before getting to this, but that's fine. So yeah, this is the second one on our books. For book number 3, we will just go with this one. Ooh, this is a non-fiction one. There is quite a few non-fictions in here, and these are going to be the ones that are going to be slightly more tricky for me to get through. So that book is Richard Dawkins' The Magic of Reality. It has a post-it in it. So, okay, apparently at some point I got to 18 pages in this book. I don't remember that, so I will start again. This is a non-fiction book about reality. I don't know. I have one other Richard Dawkins book, which I've read again slightly of, so this will be interesting to read. This will be one that I'm going to probably have to try and remind myself to read throughout a couple of months. I find it very hard to read a non-fiction in kind of 1 month, especially one that is potentially quite sciencey, because I'm not the most intelligent person when it comes to science. I like science and I find it really interesting, but I am not very good at comprehending it. I think that's 3 very different books so far on this list. On to book number 4. Let's just grab this one. Yeah. This is also a non-fiction book. Let me grab it. It's called He's a Stud, She's a Slut, and 49 Other Double Standards Every Woman Should Know. I bought this for £1 at some kind of book sale at some point, just because I thought sounded interesting. It's literally just kind of a book about like, yeah, comparisons between just a bunch of different double standards. I thought it was potentially interesting. I don't think it's going to be a book that I'm going to want to sit and read in one sitting, because it is just broken up into like different, I guess, double standards. I don't know if it's going to explain much on them. I genuinely have no idea. I just thought, you know what, I want to read about that kind of stuff. Let's read about it. This book also came up here with me, as did this one. So I've definitely had both of these over 3 years. So again, 2 more that would be great to get off my TBR. Because also non-fiction, actually. This is going to maybe make me read a lot of more non-fiction than I probably ever would put on my own TBR. When it comes to my TBR, especially for the games, if I don't get a non-fiction prompt, I'm unlikely to put a non-fiction on there. So these at least will be trying to get me to read them. I might not try and put them on one of my TBR games, because then I can read them sporadically throughout the months, but that's another non-fiction book. Okay, so pull number 5 of our standalones. Go for this one. And this one is, oh, this is a big one. Oh, this is one of the ones as well. I'm not 100% sure if it's a standalone or a series. It's American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This is a chunky book. I picked this up at a charity shop for £2. So I don't think this is a series. It's kind of listed at the front with a load of his other books like Stardust and Fragile Things and Smoke and Mirrors that I believe are standalones. So I think this is a standalone. It is quite chunky, but it is actually only, he says, like 650 pages. The writing is quite small in it though. But yeah, this I believe had a TV series, which I never watched, but I've heard about. I'm just reading the back and it actually sounds quite interesting. So yeah, this is one I've heard of Neil Gaiman's as an author a lot, and I think I've only read Coraline, which I actually listened to, and I did enjoy that. So I do really want to read more of his stuff, and I do own quite a few Neil Gaiman books. So it would actually be good, yeah, to get this on the TBR next year. This would be a good one to read. It's different from the other 4 as well, so that's nice. So yeah, that's also one that I think did come up here with me. I think I've had this one for over 3 years as well. This is doing me good in getting me to actually read some of the bloody backlists that I've had here for ages. So number 6, we'll go with this one. And that is Wave. Where is that? This is unsurprisingly another non-fiction one. I think this is my sister's, but I do want to read this because I almost bought it once, and when I was with her, thankfully, and she was like, we already have that. This I believe is a non-fiction about a tsunami, and it's this one woman's tale of losing her parents, her husband, and her 2 young sons in a tsunami, and then miraculously surviving. And yeah, it's a memoir, I guess, about her life after that, which it does sound extremely interesting. Again, though, I'm never really one to put these kind of books on my TBR, so this will at least encourage me to do that, because this does sound really good, and I think it would be really a good read. I think my sister has started reading it, which is why it's kind of like that. It's not overly long either. It's just over 200 pages, so that's not bad. So that's half of them, and we currently have 3 for 3 for fiction and non-fiction, which is quite nice. Number 7, there we go, that's 1. This one is... Jesus. Okay, let me grab it. So this one is another Richard Dawkins book, which is Richard Dawkins' The Greatest Show on Earth. Now, I have started reading this. I am this far in. I forgot about this bookmark. How cute is this bookmark? Little red. It's a heavy non-fiction book about evolution, and I was really enjoying it. It was hard. It was quite heavy hitting though, I will be honest. Like, it was quite a lot for my brain to commute sometimes, especially when it started talking about, I think, like the heat temperature of when certain rocks turn into other certain rocks. I don't know, it's one of those books that I might try and see if I can get the audiobook for, because I think it would be easier to listen to and read at the same time instead of just trying to listen to, because the amount of words like my head just skipped over because my poor little dyslexic brain could not read what they were, so I just kind of skip over words, and I'm like, that word might be relevant, but yeah, okay, so that's another non-fiction book. I would like to not get any more non-fiction books, if I'm honest, but we will let the bag pick what the bag wants. That's 2, there's 1. What have we got here? Okay, this wants me to read Ali Hazelwood, so let me go and pick that book. Okay, so Love on the Brain is our next book. So the bag wants us to read Ali Hazelwood next year, which is fine. I do want to read this one, like I said before, reading Love theoretically. So yeah, make it a priority just to get them on the TBR next year. There's not much variety going on. For the amount of books that are in this bag, as you can hear, like if I show you just like a fistful, like there's like loads of books in here. I've gotten 2 Richard Dawkins and 2 Ali Hazelwood. That seems a bit odd, but okay bag. Let's go to the next pick. Go for this one, which is... Jesus. Okay, this is a classic. My classics are here. Let me see, which one is it? This book does say Life's Little Ironies by Thomas Hardy, but I have this book, which is Thomas Hardy's selected short stories. This is better known as Life's Little Ironies. There you go. So it is the fact that this one just doesn't say it on it. So Life's Little Ironies by Thomas Hardy. So a classic, which is fine. I don't know if this is mine or my sister's, so I left it in the bag because I wasn't sure. I've never read anything by Thomas Hardy. Oh, and it's so small and like cramped writing, and I'm not sure what I'm going to think of it. But this will be a good excuse for me to actually read it and see what the hell I think. It is quite short, thankfully, but the writing in it is quite dense, and it's a classic, so I don't know how well I'll get on with this book. But that's fine. That's an interesting one added to the list. It's different, so that's nice, I guess. So we have 3 more that I need to pick. So we shall do this one, which is... Would you believe it if it's another non-fiction? Actually, also one that I've started this year, so let me grab it. So the book was The Transgender Issue. This is by Sean Fay. I did start this at the beginning of the year. This is a book that talks about, I think specifically in England and Britain, but like the transgender movement. I have read literally the prologue and it was just really sad, and so I kind of stopped for a bit. I'm not going to put this on a TBR next year. I am just going to try and read it throughout the year because I think it's going to be very, very heavy for me to read, so I think I'm going to need to take my time with it. But I do really want to read this. I bought this maybe last Christmas or like in 2022, so it is a relatively new, at least non-fiction to my collection. A lot of these non-fictions I have had for ages, but this is a relatively newish one, so I do really want to read it, and I think it's a very important topic to learn about, especially learning about the history of stuff going on in England in terms of like the transgender movement and stuff. So I am very interested in reading this. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be heavy. There's a lot of non-fiction here. I did not think this through when I decided to do the random bag pick, but that's fine. So we have 2 more picks. 2 more non-fictions would be nice. Let's see. Let's do this one, which is a non-fiction. Where is it? Which is this one. This one is actually one that I put on this year's self-destruct list because I've had it for years. I think I probably bought this back in like 2017, maybe? Well, this was first published in 2014, so I might have bought it early in 2017. But yeah, this is called, I think it's called Bete. It's Bete, but there's a little like hat on this E. So I don't know if it's like Beta or Beta, or it's by Adam Roberts. And I believe it's a story about, it's the idea of giving animals intelligence, and would you still want to eat the animals if they had an intelligence and an awareness. And I think it sounds really interesting. I just have not put it on my lists. I'm really interested to read this, and I'm glad that it put this on my list because, like I said, I did put it on this year's list and then kind of just abandoned that idea and never carried on with it. So this will be really cool to read, and it is a non-fiction and it's different. So for our last one, let's grab this one. This is The Chosen one, which is also a non-fiction one. And it's a non-fiction sciencey one. Okay, where is it? It is called Was There Ever? Is There Life on Mars? The Big 20 Universe Questions by Stuart Clark. Again, I've had this for over 3 years, which is nice to get on here, but it doesn't actually look as intimidating. It's kind of just, Is There Life on Mars will help you start to answer 20 of the most perplexing and fascinating questions about the universe, such as, why do planets stay in orbit? Was Einstein right? What is dark matter? Why are we made of stardust? Okay, that does sound like it potentially is not going to be too hard then, if it's kind of like breaking down shit, which is nice. So that's the final book of the self-destruct list. I will say I am really glad I have gotten quite a few non-fictions on here because I do need to read them if I own them. I want to read them. I bought them because I think they sounded interesting, and then I just never put them on my TBRs. So let's have a quick look through what we will be reading in 2024, and if not, we will be getting rid of this time next year. We'll be unhauling them. First of all, I will share with you the fiction, and then we'll go into the non-fiction. So for fiction, I have Lost in a Book by Jennifer Donnelly, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, American Gods by Neil Gaiman, Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, Selected Short Stories by Thomas Hardy, and Bete by Adam Roberts. So we have gone 6 for 6, which is quite nice. 6 non-fictions and 6 fictions. So the 6 non-fictions are The Magic of Reality by Richard Dawkins, He's a Stud and She's a Slut, and 49 Other Double Standards Every Woman Should Know by Jessica Valenti, Wave, a memoir of the lifetime after the tsunami by, I want to say, Sonali Dharani Yagala. I apologize if that is wrong. The Greatest Show on Earth by Richard Dawkins, The Transgender Issue by Sean Fay, and lastly, Is There Life on Mars by Stuart Clark. I think that's a really interesting stack actually, and I probably wouldn't have picked most of these books to put on my TBR anytime soon, with the exception of maybe Ali Hazelwood. So I'm interested in actually getting on and reading them. So these are the 12 books. I'm going to have to write them down, and I'm going to have to make sure I make a note every month to remember them, because this is why I did not do my last ones, because I just have a bit of a shit memory and forgot. So I need to make sure for next year's games from January on, I have a think about these 12 books. Some of them I won't ever try and put on a TBR and we'll just try and read. But the fiction ones especially, I would like to at least try and get on TBRs because I'm more likely to read those in the months than I am to be able to get through like a whole non-fiction a month. This is one of my first videos that I'm going to be doing for like wrapping up the end of the year and kind of preparing myself for 2024's reading challenges. So this will be one of them. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys are doing a similar thing, let me know. Or if there's just any books that you really just want to actually finally read next year that you've had for ages, let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again hopefully soon. Bye.